We're still on step 8, but now we're on sidescroller2, so let's scroll down here, vertically scroll to get to our side scroller. I will select sidescroller2 and I will show you what's going on. It looks just like sidescroller1. And if I start scrolling to the right, we'd expect the green dots to scroll to the left. Here I go. And they're not scrolling to the left. And the reason is because now we have a margin, and the cyan dot, the player, is allowed to get within the margin of the edge of the canvas. Here our scroll margin is 50. So we're allowing this player, this cyan dot, to get within 50 pixels of the edge. And as I go left or right, as long as I'm not within 50 of the edge, I just get to move freely. But if I get within 50 of the edge, here I go, instead of getting closer to the edge, that's when we go and scroll the green dots, scroll everything else by changing our scroll X just like we always would. Now when I go left, because I'm still not within the margin, we do not update the scroll X. We only update the scroll X if I get near the edge. Okay, so this is very similar to last time. The difference is in what we do as we move. So to move a player, sure enough, we update dx. So we move a player by the amount, in this case 5 if you're heading right, if we had here 5 if you're heading to the right, and -5 if you're heading to the left. But then we call this make player visible method that we gave you. Okay, and let's think about this. If we were heading off the left edge of the screen, okay, so we're coming down here, going left, 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 everything's fine, and right here we're going to go too far to the left. What does too far to the left mean? Too far to the left means that our player X, right, if you were to subtract the scroll X, so that's how much shift we have, we'd be less than the scroll margin. That would mean we're too far to the left. Now, it turns out that if I add scroll X to both sides, I get this, which happens to be exactly this line. So this is the test that we've gone too far off the left edge. If we have, we want to adjust our scroll X. So what we do is we simply set these equal to each other and solve for scroll X by subtracting the scroll margin. And so scroll X will be the player X minus the scroll margin. And that's how we adjust our scroll X so that our player X will sit right on that left margin, and we will scroll everything else accordingly. So if we're sitting on the left margin, as I hit left, we try to move left, but we know that's too far, so we don't move left, and instead we keep subtracting our scroll X, which winds up effectively moving everything else right. Of course, we do that same thing on the other end by very similar logic. And as I try to go right, because I'd go past the margin, I don't, and instead I wind up adding to my scroll X, which effectively moves everything else left. So this version of scroller, I get to move in the middle and near the margins is the only time that it actually scrolls.